Right, so this tutorial is how to use Pro Desktop, or it's not really how to use it as in step by step, but it shows you how you can use Pro Desktop to create an image that you can then use as a photorealistic rendering for your project. So I'm just going to go to File, New and Design, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually draw a DVD case, and it's just going to be a square. Now to do that, I'm just going to click onto Frontal, click onto New Sketch, click onto OK, press the Shift key and the letter W for work plane, and I'm just going to draw out the size of my DVD. Now as I draw in version 8, you can see the measurements of what I'm actually drawing is towards the bottom, and that doesn't always happen if you're using early versions like 2000i, but the DVD case, when you measure them, I'm going to do mine as 13.5 wide, so 13.6 is probably better, and then the length of it I'm actually going to do as 19, so centimetres or 190, so it's 190 by 136. Right, once I've done that, then I press the Shift key and the letter T to put it back into trimetric, and then just go to Feature, Extrude, and this time I'm going to extrude it to the thickness of the box, which in this case is going to be 16. So if I type in 16 millimeters, add material, doesn't matter if it's below or above the work plane at this stage, and I'll just click on to OK. Now what I will do though is, what I remember, is just press F for face, and I'm just going to round the two faces slightly. If you select more than one face or the wrong face, just hold the Shift key down, select more than one, and click off it, and I'm just going to go to Feature, Round Edges, and I'm only going to round it by about 1 mil. Or 2 mil, I'll use 2. Okay, now I'm going to call that my DVD case, but before I do, just need to round the other edges, so I just press E for edge rather than F for face, and I'm just going to click onto these corners, and once I've done that, I'm just going to round that exactly the same. So it's Feature, Round Edges, click onto 2, click onto OK. So that there is my DVD case. So if I then go to File, Save, and into my document, if I call that DVD case, and I'm just going to click on to Save there. Now because I know the measurements of the box now, what I should be able to do is work out the actual sizes that I need for the actual box that I'm making. Now ideally I could have modelled this out of card beforehand, which would help, or I can model it on the computer and then go and build it, which tends to be the way it works. Now I know that I've got to fit 2 of my CDs and DVD cases into my box, and I want some way of separating them, and my designs are going to incorporate that. So I use these measurements to create my next design. So what I'm going to do now is go to File, New, keep that one open, Design, and once I've done that, I'm going to start drawing from a plan view. So I'm on Base, which is the plan view, and if I just press the arrow key or the Shift key and the letter P, it puts it into plan view, and I can start drawing. Now I know straight away that the actual case of the box is 16 deep by 135, and I'm just checking that now as I've got one in front of me as I'm drawing to make sure it's accurate. So 135, almost there. We're going to say 136 by 16. I know that that is going to be my DVD case, so anything around that is what I've got to draw. So I'm going to copy that one because I need 2 of them, so I Control C and Control V. I can move this to where it needs to be. Just checking I haven't copied and pasted more than one, which I haven't. And I need to know what the measurements are going to be in between them. So at this point, I want them to be 10 centimetres apart from each other. Sorry, 10 centimetres, 10 millimetres apart from each other. And if we zoom in, we can see where we're going with this. And just to stop these from changing sort of shape, I'm just going to actually click onto them and put some sketch dimensions onto these, and that should lock them into place. Okay, now what I need to do then is think of how I'm going to design the box for these to go around, and indeed what size is going to incorporate these into my sort of case. Now I'm sort of thinking, looking at my designs, that actually what I'm going to try and do is put these grooves around, which means that when I zoom in, my two cases have to be able to fit in between here. So if they're 1 centimetre each side, I need to take that into account. So on my Pro Desktop then, when I draw, I'm just going to start off doing exactly what I've just done, draw a rectangle all the way around those, and at this point all I do then is make sure that the measurements are 10 millimeters, and all these are drawn in millimeters. So if I click onto 10 and I click onto another 10 from the side, and I'm trying to keep the box as symmetrical as I possibly can. Okay, that should be 10, and in fact what we'll try and do is keep this so it sort of literally fits in with a bit of space around. So from there, all I'm going to do now is, instead of saying 1 centimetre all the way around, what I will do is make this actually 5 millimeters. That's not a problem. Now you notice these haven't remained shaded, and that's just because the lines are crossing on there, but as soon as this one moves back into place and everything's locked down, it should go shaded. Now as long as it's shaded, it means that I'm going to be able to extrude that profile. Now on my design, my final design, I'm not actually going to put these bits that go in and out on there, but what I am going to do is put these grooves that go through. So all I'm going to do then is click back onto my Pro Desktop, and I'm going to draw those grooves in. And it's quite easy to do that. So from there I'll just draw one line going straight down. I'll measure that line from there, just so we know that it's equal. So if we say that's going to be 20, from there I'm then going to leave a gap of also, that's going to be 10 I think, because we're going to have gaps of 10 into there. So I'll just change that to 10. And remember, we're in millimeters when we're doing this. And then once we've done that, I'm going to leave another gap of 20. So if I click between those two, that there then becomes 20. And then what I'm going to do then is leave another gap of 10. So it divides mine into 3 sections. There we go, so that one's already 10. Okay, so if I then use my trim tool, which is this tool here, if I click onto the trim tool and take out the bits that I don't require, so on my design it's going to be these ones here. And then I can start to cut out all the internal bits I had. Okay, so it gets a bit complicated, but it should be looking something very similar to what's on the screen, which it is. So in my head, this is exactly how I'm thinking my box will look like once it's drawn into place. Okay, so that should be shaded now, but it's not. So if I go to Feature Extrude, it should tell me where the error is, and the first error it's telling me is there. So let's see if we can correct this. Go to undo. And there we go, it's shaded. I'm going to place that back into trimetric at this point and zoom out. And then I'm going to extrude it, so I'll just go to Feature, Extrude Profile, and I'm going to extrude my box to the height that I need it to be. Now the height that I need it to be is going to be slightly bigger than the DVD because I want a base for it to go into. So I know that the DVD that we did was 19 or 190. If I make this 220 millimeters, so I'm actually going to go one more from there, 220, and then click onto OK. That then is my cardboard box, and that's ready to be edited in a second. So at that point, nice simple box, 10 minutes worth of work. It's very easy to do, and that's going to be our primitive that we're going to extrude and cut different shapes in the next session.